right, so Debra here wants some closure, and I think today we can provide it for her because she was going out with this dude who didn't want to get married. So they break up. 6 months later, he's married to another woman, and we found out why. Hey, Debra.
Hey.
Hey, all right. Tell us about this history with this dude, because we reached out to him, and we did get a response from him, so maybe we can help you out this morning.
Well, hello. Thanks, y'all. So, Miles and I, we dated for a few years, right? And then we broke up about a year and a half ago. And, I mean, I know why, or supposedly I know exactly why he told me we were breaking up. And, you know, and especially saying after the breakup, it just doesn't make sense to me because it really stemmed down to saying, like, I was pressuring him to get married, and ultimately he didn't want to, and I didn't think I was pressuring him. Okay, fine, whatever. Well, okay, we break up, and then 6 months later, I see he has eloped, and I don't even know, you know, I'm kind of like beside myself, you know. I want closure. I don't know that he would talk to me, and obviously I don't want to talk to him directly, so can you help?
I haven't read his email response back to you, but I mean, I've heard the old cliche so many times. It's like, when you know, you know. So maybe he just knew immediately with this new woman, which would be tough to hear if that's what he said. Mo?
I'm not sure if this happened or if you knew, but is it possible that he was talking to her the entire time he was talking to you, and that's why he didn't want to get married?
Oh, Mo making it worse. Okay.
Sad day.
Did you realize that he was sleeping with somebody else while he was with you, is what Mo is asking?
I'm just saying it makes sense.
I understand. I mean, I was worried about that, and I mean, I was asking, and he kept saying, no, of course not like, you know, y'all ever admit to it when you do anyway. But, you know, from what I saw, I don't think it was that bad. Like, it wasn't totally, he just found someone in the middle and left. This was like 6 months later, or maybe, I don't know. See, this is why I'm here, y'all.
So how long were you guys going out for?
It was at least like 4 years, 4 or 5 years, if that.
All right. So, and at the very end of this whole thing, you're like, hey, is this going to happen or not? And he was just like, I'm not ready? Or was it more of a, look, marriage as an institution doesn't work for me?
He kept making it seem like it wasn't like something he would do for him personally. Like, it wasn't a calling. Like, marriage was not for him.
And did he?
And the one time I asked, he was like, "Don't pressure me."
Okay. Why are you always pressuring me? This is the first time I've ever brought it up, dude. Leave me alone, Cassie.
This dude was totally using you to check his feelings for another girl and to make sure he felt what he felt was real. He was dabbling in the side. I've seen this happen before. Dabbling in the side. I hate that it happened to you. You were the victim. You were the fallout, and he went about and married who he was going to marry, and he was just using you. I'm sorry.
You and Mo you guys are on the same tag team today. Emotional tag team.
It makes sense, man. I appreciate you.
Dobby.
I just think everybody went through some unprecedented times, and, you know, coming out of it, he's just like, woo, first girl, I'm a marrier. Like, just lost it. I mean, some people would call it like a quarter-life crisis or something, and not everybody buys a Miata. Some people marry abroad. So, like, maybe, like, that's what happened. And will that be a good enough answer? If you get a response that's just, like, so, like, cheesy, half-assed, and is like, when you know, is that going to be good enough closure for you?
I mean, it won't be perfect. Yeah, I'll take it. If something's better than nothing, you know what I mean? Like, I'll take it. Like, even if it's total lies.
Okay.
I would rather hear something.
Well, we did reach out to him. Tommy reached out to him, our studio director, and we have 2 paragraphs of either lies or his truth. Okay. So bear with us for a couple of minutes. I'll get the email and I'll read it to you in about 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Look, marriage is just not an institution that I am interested in, is what he told her after 4 years of dating. So she said, well, you are not an institution that I feel like dating anymore then. So she breaks up with the dude and then finds out 6 months later, this guy elopes with another woman and gets married. Mo has a theory.
Well, yeah, to me, I mean, it seems harsh, but it makes sense that maybe he was talking to this woman the entire time behind her back, and that's why he didn't necessarily want to get married. And then when they broke it off, I guess he was in love with her to the point where he finally decided to do it.
Usually, you know what I've learned like lately is, I know this is really not romantic, but timing is everything, man. It really is absolutely everything. But because this thing was only 6 months, like 6 months from the breakup of a 4-year relationship, can the timing that all of a sudden, you know what? The institution of marriage just doesn't seem so bad to me anymore. The timing is right now. 6 months doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Unless he met someone that wouldn't put out until they were married. That'll do it.
Or unless he was talking to her for longer than 6 months, and that's just all we know.
Yeah. So, Deborah, when you broke up with him, you broke up with him for this reason, right? Because he just didn't want to get married, and here you are 4 years into a relationship, and marriage is important to you?
It was an important factor, you know. It was definitely one of the things, but I was more off-put at the fact that, again, like I brought it up once, he was like, oh, you're pressuring me, and then he actually was the one to call it off, you know. So it's just a mess.
Did he say, like, stop pressuring me because my other girlfriend's not going to like this?
You know, then
Never
I
said
wouldn't
that.
be here. I wish. That's a more direct answer than what I got.
So we got an email response back from him after our studio director, Tommy, reached out to him, and I'll read it to you in a second. How did you find out he eloped? Was it a Facebook thing or social media thing?
It was a Facebook thing. So obviously I unfriended him, but one of my girlfriends, because she is still dating one of his friends, so obviously they're still mutual, and I get a text at work being like, oh my God, Debra, Miles is married. I'm like, no, he's not. And sure enough, she sends me screenshots of like the pictures and the reception, and I'm like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Because...
Sure.
Yeah, and I confirmed with another mutual friend, and yeah, it was real.
And you don't
Really
fire
happened.
off like a message to him or anything else going, what is this all about?
I was so mad and so, you know, off-put after this whole thing of, I don't believe in it. I asked once, why are you pressuring me? And then it just is a snowball of nonsense. And then, you know, I see you marry this person, and, you know, there you are cutting the cake and feeding each other, and it's just gross. It's so
She's
gross.
like, I hope you joke.
All right. Okay, well, here, studio director Tommy reached out to him, and this is the response that we got from Miles. Says, yes, I told her many times that I didn't want to get married because she was constantly pushing the issue. Constantly pushing the issue is what he says. That is a very different definition than what you said.
No kidding. Not constant, but keep going.
Okay. You said once, right?
I said once. I'm not constant.
Okay. If she hadn't pushed the issue so many times, we may not have broken up. So, two people seeing this very, very differently.
So the real
Wow.
answer is somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Of constant and once.
Now, in looking back at it, does it feel more than once right now?
I mean, maybe, but I think it's like, you know, they were brought up in different contexts. Like, it wasn't like every time, like, oh, are we going to get married? Hey, are we going to get married? You know, it's Sunday. Do you want to get married? Like, no, especially when when you're in a 4-year relationship, you have conversations that evolve. They may, like, you know, even if you're like joking around, like, I would not think that. Like, I'm trying to think back. I'm like, was it constant? Like, I'm being gaslit here, y'all. There's no way it was constant.
So was it something like, I mean, you didn't overtly say, when are we getting married over and over again, but it would be something like, oh, guess who got married this weekend? Becky. And they've only been dating 2 years. I'm so happy for them.
That's just conversation.
Yeah, like a lot of things. Exactly. Like, between mutual friends getting married and, you know, or... like, oh, for our one day, like, house, but jokingly, things like that. Like,
Okay. Oh, look, the royal wedding is this weekend. We should watch because we're never getting married.
How nice for them.
Y'all are so mean. They were together 4 years. You're allowed to bring up marriage a couple times at that point.
The thing is that she said initially once, and he's saying it was constant. So that's really the difference here.
He's probably getting her confused with his other girlfriend.
Yeah, that could be.
Stop.
All right, so I can't say that I'm upset that she constantly brought it up because I'm glad we ended up breaking up. How? While I didn't say I didn't want to get married, I did add the final part of that, which is to her. So did he ever say, look, I want to get married, it's just not to you? Because I don't believe he said that.
Yeah, no, I would not be here if I got that much of a direct answer.
Right. No, marriage is a wonderful institution. It's just not going to happen between you and I. Nobody says that.
Wow.
He writes, I always knew I wanted to get married to the right person, and I also knew the right person wasn't her, so he decided to spend 4 years with you. Okay, now I'm getting mad for you.
Wow.
He says, however, the relationship worked for that period of my life.
Oh.
After we broke up, I started dating my wife. Contrary to what she may think, I never cheated on her. I didn't even meet my wife until a few weeks after our breakup. However, as soon as I met her, who wants to finish the sentence? As soon as I met her,
I knew she was the one.
I knew, right. Which is why I wasted no time asking her to marry me. We were engaged for after dating for 3 months, and we eloped 2 months later. I have zero regrets, and I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I told Debra the truth, but I left off the more hurtful part. What's wrong with that? He says. And that was it.
What's wrong with that is he used her for 4 years.
Well, according to him, she kept bringing it up. I'm just playing defense attorney here. And he said, I don't want to be married to you, which I do not believe. I do not believe, Mo.
Yeah, you could tell he's full of it. I mean, because with these statements, like, you're not going to stay with somebody for 4 years. If you feel this way toward them, it doesn't even make sense. He completely wasted your time. You should feel better about this being over.
He's a coward. He was in a relationship. You were good to him, and he was comfortable. And he knew you weren't the one early on. You know when someone's not the one, but you also know when things are comfortable. And some people are too afraid to shake things up and go out on their own. And he used you until he felt the pressure was mounting too much. Then he broke from you and found someone else. He wasted 4 years of your life, and I'm really sorry for you. You have every right to feel angry.
Here is Julia, who wants to help you out. Hey, Julia.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all?
Great, thank you.
Debra, listen, I just want to let you know I felt compelled to call in because my sister had the same scenario happen. She dated a guy for 5 years. He was a huge part of her son's lives. They were comfortable together, and it was just like a organic conversation of maybe they should get married one year. But he just split at the beginning of COVID. They mutually broke up, decided to take a break because they were pretty stagnant, and she turned around like 5 months later. I'm sorry, my
It's
son.
okay, don't apologize.
And he got married to one of their old coworkers, and I mean, she was blindsided. She was already in therapy, as a lot of people were last year, and her therapist said, girl, don't even worry about it. She started asking about his personality traits, and she said that is a classic move of someone with narcissistic personality disorder. Whether they're the ones that do the breaking up or get broken up with, that is like their classic move where they marry or become seriously involved with the next person that they're in a relationship with, because it's kind of a way of saying, oh, nothing's wrong with me, it's you. So,
Right.
yeah, tell him, bud.
Yeah. Look, your kid is better than at least 20% of the people we put on this show. So I appreciate both you guys calling. All right, we will let you go, Debra. I'm sorry. I think Mo said it, that you're probably way better off without this dude anyway. So move on now.
Dodged a narcissist bullet.
Look, you got the closure you wanted. Move on.
That's true. Thank y'all. I know. Thank you. It still hurts, though.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
The Burt Show.